Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody, whatever part of the world you're currently listening to our video blog and podcast. My name is Al Mina, the concept author of Face Economics, the utilization of the social media platform in economic development worldwide. So I thought I reflect on some of the things that have been happening recently in the political landscape in the U.S., specifically regarding some of the events and rhetoric that are being espoused by various candidates. But with this said, one particular candidate that I find extremely troubling is Ms. Kamala Harris' strategy within her campaign. I thought the whole idea of having a leader is for that leader to unite our country, to unite our society, and basically reduce the friction among people groups in our country. But I find it extremely strange that she would participate and go on a show with a well-known comedian who happens to use race as a part of his national campaign to make everybody, to appeal to people, basically, using, race as that trigger to marginalize and make fun of people. I don't understand why Ms. Harris, who is the current sitting vice president, would want to participate in that kind of show on top of being as a presidential candidate. Throughout the years, and I'm not the only one saying this, but it's a well-known fact that the Asian Pacific Islander community in the U.S. have been targeted by many hateful people. Asian hate in America is real, and the crime against Asians in the U.S. have doubled. And so this is something that I find extremely baffling when, back in the days, people were calling for Mr. Colbert's show to be canceled. And it wasn't even, talked about within the national media pertaining to the way that he's operating, targeting a group and a segment of the population. But instead, CBS gave him a national slot. Previously, he was on cable. So there were limited people that get access to his content. But, a couple of years later, he gets national broadcasting access, which I find it really strange, in a country that is supposed to be a diverse society that is supposed to be accepting of everyone regardless of race. And I thought that was the whole idea regarding at least the campaign to unify the country by Mr. Martin Luther King. He used to say that don't judge him by the color of his skin, by the content of it, but by the content of his character. And yet we have a vice president, okay, and an aspiring president looking to become the commander in chief and will participate on a show with a host that have marginalized and attacked population, a segment of a population. So with that said, I would like to also point out that during Barack Obama's time, an African American was basically attacked or was harassed by a white police officer. And Mr. Biden, who is our current president, who at that time is still vice president for Barack Obama, participated in the Beer Summit. Okay. But when I shared my case with the White House back during when Obama was in office, Mr. Obama was in office and Mr. Biden was just vice president. And again, when Mr. Biden became president, okay, all I got from them was an acknowledgement letter saying that they are aware of my case, but they've done nothing, absolutely nothing to provide aid, relief, and justice. No beer summit for me. Okay, and here you have a sitting vice president. I would go on a talk show with a host that have attacked and marginalized the Asian American community and Pacific Islander community via his show so that people would watch his show and he can make money off of marginalizing and making fun of a segment of the population. And a sitting vice president would go on that show. And CBS would give him a national slot, public slot where everybody would get access to his show. All right, folks. I'm not saying I'm a boy genius. I'm not saying that I know everything. I think I'm fairly average per se. But when something like this keeps popping up, it's not just a one-time thing, right? It happened during Obama's time. They didn't, provide any assistance to myself, but requested assistance from their office because I was being targeted and discriminated against and attacked for my race. They didn't do anything back then. And today, 3 years and 10 months into office, Mr. Biden and Harris's administration have not done they haven't done anything, even though they sent me a letter saying that they have received and acknowledged my correspondence with our office. Okay, this is not something, at least it's not an example of a way to unite, the country. When you're cherry picking and playing favorites on which group of people based on who you think would vote for you and their overall, political, agenda to support your campaign, that's not the way that you unite a society, a country, I say, versus America. America's always been a diverse society, and it will always continue to be a diverse society, regardless of who's in office. But the problem is that I'm seeing here is that those people that are in office are the ones that are influencing the division in our country, which is definitely not a good thing moving forward. So I thought I'd, reflect on the overall situation in our society today and examine, the candidates are what they're saying and what they're doing matching, or is it all a lip service trying to gain popularism and votes? And if that's their agenda, then it's not gonna, it's not gonna heal our country. It's not gonna make our society a better country for everyone. So with that said, my name is Aldous Mina. I'm the concept author of Face Economics, the utilization of social media platform in economic development worldwide. Thank you for watching. Take care.